Hey, all my Crimsonites, and welcome to the Crimson Cure channel, where we embrace our femininity, increase our womanly value, and celebrate our brothers. So join me on our feminine journey to learn, heal, and grow. Hey there, my Crimsonites. How we doing today? Hopefully everybody is good. Thank you so much, Adrian, for kicking off the contributions. I appreciate you. I appreciate you. So I actually never intended for this whole Candace thing to go for 3 live streams. I didn't. I was just going to do the one. We was going to talk about it and we was going to be done with it. But this is even after I watched it, the whole thing initially. Like I watched the entire thing before I did the first live stream. And I'm like, I don't need more than one show or so, but I did. This third show is going to be the final one. I'm not going to go extended beyond it. Thank you so much. Britt said, thank you for your time and wisdom. It's been helping me be a better wife. Oh, that's good. I appreciate that. Thank you, sweetheart. And I'm glad that anything that I do or say here can help anybody. So like I said, I never actually intended for the review of that stream to go for 3 of mine. But like I said, it's the last one. I'm not going to go past it because there are other things to discuss. But this one is probably the most impactful one because it is talking about what I think is probably the most destructive part of feminism, which is whore culture. The most, in my opinion, one of the most destructive parts of feminism to come out of modern third, fourth wave, whatever wave we on at this point, was whore culture. And whore culture being brought from the shadows to replace the regular culture of men and women and dating and all of that. Yeah, see, I seen her from a couple of things. Pop the Balloon, and she was on another like little podcast or something like that where she was talking about being a scripper and all that type of stuff. So I did recognize her. Whore culture has always existed, but it existed with whores and sex workers, pimps and hoes, you know, women of the night, various different kinds of sex workers, porn stars, strippers, you know, women who were in that space, the women and the men who were in that space. They understood what it was. The women did not have the same expectations of men that a wife would have of a husband because they were not getting husbands. And the men did not have the same expectation of the whores and sex workers that they were dealing with as they would have wives because they were not getting wives and they were not dealing with them in that capacity. Both the John and the prostitute both have seen the underbelly of male nature and female nature. So they don't have a lot of expectations beyond the transaction, really. Okay. This is why I've said before that women who spent their whole life being whores, they can get husbands, but the husband has to be a man that came from that lifestyle too, so that he can understand the dysfunction with her. Even if she's too old to run the streets anymore, or she don't want to run the streets no more, he understands the psyche that she's dealing with, because she continues to deal with it even in a time where she don't necessarily run the street no more. So sometimes you'll see a pimp go ahead and exit the game with his old lady, with his bottom. She been with him through everything. She got the same dysfunction that other prostitutes had, but he was able to regulate her a little bit better. And so she know him well enough. He know her well enough. They actually can go off and have some type of relationship. It's not going to be the traditional, what we think of as marriages, with all of the spirituality and all that stuff with it. More often than not, they're going to continue the dynamic. Okay? But they're just not in the street no more. They both kind of mellow out, and it is what it is. So when the Quran, and it might be in the Bible too, somebody correct me if I'm wrong, where God talks about this type of woman is for this type of man, this type of woman is for this type of man, we can actually see it play out. And because it's being all mixed up now is where you're getting a lot of this foolishness from. Because everybody wants to mix up. People are approaching whole John transaction relationships as such, as transactions, and then being mad that they are not marriages and that the people are not functioning within that dynamic as a husband and a wife. Well, sir, ma'am, y'all are not trying to be husband and wife. You came into this either pimp hoe or hoe John. Like, you came into it like this. You came into it with a transactional expectation. You came into it without any type of spirituality. You came into it without any real deep expectation of anything. So now how are you getting upset at this point because the transaction that y'all started didn't suddenly transform into this wonderful, spiritual, deep, foundational marriage where y'all can really be together and really, you know what I mean? So the invasion of that, it was underground. Whole culture was underground. It was a niche. You had to go to it and be involved in order to see it for what it was. You had to be in the mix of that. If you were not in the mix of that, you didn't know what was going on in that world. It's just like the drug world or the gang world or something like that. If you're not into the drugs and the gangs and the this and the that, you don't know what's going on over there. But because feminism supported this sexual liberation and freedom, and the women can move like the men and all of that, it paved the way for a whore culture, which was underground and off to the side. It paved the way for that to become more mainstream and thus celebrated like this is how women are supposed to move. This is how men are supposed to move. And if you're not moving like that, then, you know what I'm saying, something wrong with you and da-da-da-da. To the point where You got hoes talking about married women, and marriage is nothing more than a pimp hoe relationship or a whole John relationship, trying to equalize the two things, which that has never happened before. And you not only got hoes out here saying it, you got some men out here agreeing that that's what a marriage is, that the covenant is the exact same thing as the transaction. Just because there is an exchange of things, now all of a sudden, the covenant that God said we supposed to be in is all of a sudden the same thing as the transaction that a John get with a hoe or a pimp get with a hoe. And see, this is where I draw the line personally, because how dare, you understand? It used to be hoes knew what they were. They knew they were not wives. They wasn't going to try to be that goody two-shoe woman. They wasn't going to try to be her because they were not her. And they knew they were not her. They wasn't even going to try. Why would they try? They too busy out here getting money. The way hoes think. Go out here, get the money. So what? I got to use my body to get the money. This is how we do it. And then you get it, you flip the money, you take it back to your pimp, you know what I'm saying? And all of that. Then he take care of you because he, and the pimp not judging her for being a hoe. He knows she a hoe. That's why he dealing with her, because she's a hoe. The pimp don't even want to deal with a woman that's not a hoe, because she not going to move the same way that he need her to move. So this is why hoes and pimps belong together, more or less, because he doesn't have any judgment for her. He's encouraging her to do this. It serves him. In a way, it serves her in this dynamic. And they cool with it. And this is kind of extended for all sex workers and the people that deal with them and the people that make money with them and all of this type of stuff. So having offered up and paved the way, a gateway for whole culture to invade mainstream culture, mainstream dating, mainstream men and women interactions. That's where we are now. So now you got women that's out here doing their best hoe impression, and then don't want the judgment that men have for hoes. If you don't want the judgment that men have for hoes, then you have to deal with men that deal with hoes. You got to deal with the pimps. You got to deal with the Johns. Like, you got to deal with the madams. You got to deal with the people running the strip club. You got to deal with the people running the porn industry. You got to deal with them men and them women, because they don't have no judgment, because they all doing the same thing. But if you bring that, no matter how much it is flooded mainstream culture, men who aren't dealing with hoes have a judgment for women who are operating like hoes. They have a judgment. So all of that slut walk, we want to be able to have sexual liberation without the judgment and the stigma of being called sluts and whores, you know what I'm saying, and being downgraded and denigrated because of our sexual choices and all of this sort of thing. Yeah, they did all that. It's even, hoe talk on TikTok, where the hoes get together, they make content. They talk about how much they made, they spent a week on the road, came back with X amount of dollars. It took them 3-4 days to do that. And, like when you get on Hoe Talk, it's grimy. It's grimy. And I have only ever touched the surface of that. It's grimy. Because they really be talking about, they're not, like, they not capping for the likes and the views. They literally saying, no, we out here hoeing. You know what I'm saying? Like, I gotta, you know, I'm on this site, I'm over here, I'm riding around, all of that. So what we gonna do? Of course, we can't show it in its entirety, but I want to show you who's talking. This is who's talking first.
Saying that we live in a matriarchy, that men benefit from feminism more. I would like to understand why, again, you think that men benefit from feminism more?
Basically, because men don't have to commit to women. Men are still able to do what they're doing, and they are allowed to basically step away from all of the responsibilities of what it really meant to be a man and lead a household. And that's in large part, I think, due to the sexual revolution.
I mean, is it really bad that we don't have to give men the chase? Don't they have gratification from chasing us? Like, it's a hunter versus prey situation to me. So I feel like a lot of relationships, especially back then, were based on trying to get to home run, like, very fast. And now that we have the freedom to not commit and not tie ourselves to one man for the rest of our life, I just don't necessarily think that's bad. I just don't think the revolution has decreased our value. We're not chewed gum. We're people who value connection. And sex doesn't always have to have this deep meaning. It is just connection and intimacy between two people who trust each other. And why do we have to deny women that gratification? Like, men, you say, that are wired to want that. Why not women? Why?
And this is the stupid part. It's stupid. Everything she said didn't make any sense. And I'm going to explain why. We don't lose value. We're not chewed gum. We're people. Once again, the value that is being decreased is not the value of humanity. And these women have a very hard time making that distinction. It's not the value of humanity that is being devalued. You're still a human, worthy of breathing the air, and you know what I'm saying, or what have you. That's not the problem. The problem is that she's talking about sex doesn't have to have this deep meaning. It's just intimacy and connection between two people that trust each other. How you know you trust each other? You trust each other based on what? Where does the trust come from? Where did the trust come from? You don't know nobody. If you're just hooking up with whatever man strike your fancy and whichever man will have you, then there is no setup. There's no foundation. There's no groundwork being laid. There is no information being found out. There is no connection being made, because the connection is not the sex. The connection is supported by the sex. So if you don't have any connection outside of the sex, then ma'am, you're hoeing. Just say what it is. And they do all of these mental gymnastics just to get around. We're seeing men, our coochies is getting hot, and we want to see what he's like in bed. So we go over to him and we see if he's gonna take the bait. If he does, We sleep with them. We do our best not to get sprung and not to get caught up and not to love him and all that kind of stuff, because we're coming over there specifically because we thought he was sexy or whatever the case may be. He looked like he might have been a dude that's good in bed. Sometimes you can tell. And hey, I figured he looked like he can throw down. So I went over there to get my back blown out potentially, like I'm trying. And, you know, if I can get a couple of dollars out the deal, then I will. But, you know what I'm saying? Every chick ain't even on getting a couple of dollars. Let's be real about that. That's part of that is cap. Part of that is cap. Because a lot of these chicks is just rolling around trying to see, and they just seeing the guys and they like, oh, well, maybe I give him a shot. And men, for the most part, is gonna take that. He gotta have something going on, or something gotta be, you know what I'm saying, like he feel like he don't want to deal with that woman in particular or something like that. But most of the time, if you go to a dude and you be all flaunting around him and letting him know, you know what I'm saying, you could get some of this or whatever, unless you just a straight up hood booger. You gotta be a booger wolf for real for him to be like, I pass. That's all right. It's all right. Most of the time, especially if he a single dude or he don't have no real attachment to nobody or whatever, he going for that. He going for that one. So this is what a lot of these chicks are doing. It don't even have to be all this money. They get on the internet to cap about how much money they getting out of the men. All these chicks ain't getting no money out of no men because they are not getting with men that be having money. They're not even getting with the men that have money in the first place. They're getting with the men that they just sexually attracted to, that they got turned on by. That's who they trying to get with. For all the dudes that's wondering how or why these chicks be getting with these dudes, and you know what I'm saying, the dude, he don't really got too much going on. She didn't get with him for that to begin with. That wasn't the attraction. They come online to try to tell y'all that all the men they deal with pay for this and pay for that and bought this and bought that. That's not true. They are getting with men that they are simply physically attracted to. The same way that men, it's the same thing that men do with chicks that they don't intend to, they don't see no wife potential or nothing. But if they're sexually attracted to her and she offer it up, he gonna take it. And they're not thinking no further along than that. Women are out here doing the same thing. So the chicks that's messing around with these so-called bum dudes and all that kind of stuff, it's the same. They're doing it for the same reason that dudes go get hoes and thoughts and girls that they know kind of been around the block. Some dude had her, you know, she'd have known, jump off, he go get her. He don't want her. Only a goofball try to really get her. But most men, they know what's up with her. They gonna spend a little time with her, you know what I'm saying, just because they know what they getting. They don't see nothing past it. And then this is how you get, sometimes you'll get dudes that's actually got something going on with him, and he mess around and get that chick pregnant. You see what I'm saying? This is how that stuff be happening. Because it's not the bums that's the only ones that's making these babies. Dudes that's got something going on, that are also doing that. That's how they getting drugged through child support court. You can't drag a dude through child support court that ain't got no job. You can't drag him with what money? Garnish what paycheck? He ain't got no paycheck. He was sleeping on your couch. He ain't got nothing. They mess around with the guy that's got a little piece of job, a little bit of money, a little bit of responsibility, something like that. He caught himself just messing around, getting a girl that's a little bit easy and mess around and get her pregnant. He messed around and get her pregnant. Dang. Didn't mean to get her pregnant. But now she pregnant. She definitely keeping it because you got a job. And you try to figure out how this dude get her pregnant. Where he got her out. Okay. He got her from the same place that them chicks be getting these bum dudes from. He had sex with her because she cute. She got a big booty. That has gotten a lot of men caught up. That's why Belle Biv DeVoe said that in the 90s. Never trust a big button to smile. That because they know themselves. They know the other men. She gonna catch you up. Cause you talking about, but that though, man, she got fatty back there. Okay. Same thing with the chicks. See what I'm saying? Then you as a dude mess around with that chick and then she spring you. Coochie be good. Mess around, coochie be good. That's why you keep going back over there. Now you don't want no condom on because you're trying to feel it and all that. That's how you got her pregnant. Then, same thing on the flip side. She done got caught up with this dude because he done blew her back out. He was supposed to be just a little, a little something, not serious. Yeah, but then the technique was immaculate. And now she can't get it up. Like, wait a minute, hold on. I got to get another taste of that. And women feel differently sometimes about that than the men do. This is how you get these toxic relationships between two people. You trying to figure out, why is he with her? Why is she with him? That's how it be happening. Please don't act like we don't know what this is.
Well, we again, I go back to just our basic biological differences. There was a really interesting book that was done by a biophysicist. He, I think, recently passed away, named Edward O. Wilson, where he just sort of breaks down the biological arguments. Basically, he looks in the wild to see the behavior of animals. His thesis is just that you basically can never beat your own biology. And then he kind of compares it to what we see here as just humans and our social interactions and things that have been abundantly clear when you look at every civilization over time, whether it's from, 400 BC to LA today. What are these habits that you can see that never go away? And people coming together and starting families is one of these things, because we are biologically wired to find a family, to settle down, and to have children. And I think when you have women that are going out and they're giving all of the goods up for free.
The goods?
The goods. I'm not going to say, the goods up for free. Men are not.
Want the goods for free from men, and that we are very happy with those.
You can certainly do that. And there's
connections. We're not sockeye salmon. We're not made to breed and have families and then die.
You are welcome to do that. I'm just saying that when it comes time for you to find a partner, you may find yourself in a circumstance where men don't value you as high, because men like you spoke to, men like to compete. They like to feel like they've won something.
I'd like to deprive men of that because they don't need to have that.
Sure.
That's actually
but you did bring up.
Yeah.
You heard what she said? I want to deprive men of that. They don't need to have that. She wants to deprive men of her value as a partner by running her value out, which contradicts what she said earlier about not being a piece of chewed gum. Yes, you are. Sexually and as a partner, you are. That's exactly what you turn into. They don't like to hear that, but that's what happens. So now you know that you are degrading your value as a partner, as a potential wife, as a potential, you know that you're degrading it, and you've rationalized it by saying, well, I just want to deprive men of that, but you hurt you. The stupid part about that mindset of we're going to deprive men of the things that they want out of wives and, you know, and all of those sorts of things. That's actually the most destructive part of feminism. This is why I'm saying that the sexual revolution, because all of that is tied together. It's destructive to the women. If you deprive men of all of the valuable parts of being a woman and a potential wife, that means you lack that value. That means you don't have the value. Things that don't have value become worthless. Things that don't have value become worthless. You want it for the moment, but you don't want it after the moment. It's like a paper plate, a paper towel, or toilet paper. You stressing if you don't got it. If you don't have toilet paper, you mad. If you forget and you run out and now you got to use the bathroom, you're mad. However, once you use the toilet paper, you're disgusted by it. Not only do you not handle it afterwards, you're disgusted by it. You can't wait to get rid of it. You don't want it to be. It's completely useless after that. You don't think about it until the moment that you need it. You don't think about toilet paper until you need it. You're not nowhere like, man, I really like that last roll of toilet paper. Said no one ever. You may even have a favorite brand of toilet paper, and that don't even move the needle. So what she's saying is, and what they don't understand, is that you have every right to destroy yourself, but please understand that you're destroyed. Don't try to double back like you're not destroyed. You have every right to destroy yourself and decrease your value. But the flip side of that is you have to understand that the value has been decreased. And now you have to accept the consequences that come behind it. And that's what they don't want to accept. That's the delusion of whore culture. We want to be hoes. We want to do all the stuff that hoes do, but we don't want the consequence where we get looked down upon. The men don't want us long term. They don't see increased value in us. They don't really value what we bring to the table as women and all of that sort of stuff. And they discard us to the side. And then say we're only for fun, and we for the streets, and all that type of stuff. We don't want to be spoken about in those terms, but at the same time, we're doing everything to be in that realm where you speak about women in those terms. And that's the delusion. The delusion is, I want to do it, but I don't want the consequences. I don't want the stigma. I don't want everything that come with that. Because there's stuff, just like it's stuff that comes with being a wife, being a lioness, being an upstanding woman, having some type of modesty, having some type of decency. Stuff come with that. There are trade-offs for that. The trade-off for being a good woman is that you're not going to get a whole lot of male attention all the time. You may or may not get looked over by different men because you're not running around here having sex with every guy that say hello to you and using sex in order to get validation and all of that type of stuff. So you're gonna miss out on certain things. Just like the good girls when we was growing up in high school and stuff, the girls that was putting out got all the male attention. They got the boys. The boys was over there, the cute boys, the boys we liked was in the faces of the girls that was putting out. And they may or may not thought we was cute, but at the same time, it was like, we're not looking for you right now. So those are the trade-offs. The trade-off for being a good woman or a good young lady is that you're not going to get all of that attention. However, what you lack in male sexual attention, you gain in their respect later down the line. Because even though they don't like it, that they can't get sex out of you all the time and every time, you know what I'm saying? They got to respect it because it's like, okay, well, she didn't do it. And not only did she not do it with me, she obviously is not doing it with all the rest of us because there's no story about her. My boys can't tell a story about how they fingered her in the back in the back of the gym, and they can't tell a story like that because she doesn't do that. So we think she cute or whatever, but she's kind of a straight lace, and we're looking for girls that's going to put out. What's good, Hamp? How you doing, sweetheart? I said love is love. Thank you so much. I appreciate the contribution. So it's trade-offs. The trade-off for being a hoe is that you get all the male sexual attention. The men can't stop running up behind you. You constantly have men to choose from. There's men on your jock. It's men, you know what I'm saying, trying to talk to you or whatever. The trade-off is that they don't respect anything about you. And they see you a certain way because they see you that way. Because they see you as just a woman that gonna let them have sex, and you know what I'm saying, and all of them, when they get together, got a story to tell about you. The men trust me, they talk about you. They talk about you. I spent enough time as a tomboy in the boys' circles to know how they talk about these girls. In your face, they grin and skin because they trying to get some. They'll tell you how cute you are, and you are cute. They'll tell you how fine you are fine. But they're going to laugh and be disrespectful. When they speak about you, it will be with disrespect. You will be all kind of hoes, all kind of scallywags, all kind of sluts. You gonna be every name in the book. You gonna be everything but a child of God. And the same dude that's talk about you like a dog with his boys, all of them gonna circle the block on you. They gonna spin the block on you because you giving it up. And they're gonna act like everything cool. But when they talk about you, it will not be with respect. They gonna laugh. Man, I had her sucking it. Da, 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 da. I had her bent over, man. I told her to all kind of stuff. All the nasty stuff that they want you to do, and they tell you to do it, and they gonna talk about you specifically about that. They're gonna talk about that. Man, I made her, man. I told her to do such and such, and she did it too. But I sure let her do it though. Am I lying? That's why I tell young women, don't get nobody no story to tell about you. Don't give nobody no story to tell. Don't give nobody no story to tell. Because a lot of y'all like to go around the same crew of dudes. You know what I'm saying? Doing different stuff with dudes in the same, that roll in the same circle. That's how you get talked about. Because they roll in the same circle. These are men that are associated with one another somehow. And they're gonna run into each other, and women are gonna come up, and because that's how men talk. Men talk about money, men talk about sports, men talk about women. They only got a couple of subjects that they really be talking about when they get together, especially when they just hanging out. And depending on how close they is, the more details of that story about to be had. Y'all think y'all be slick running around here? Oh, I'm gonna make him mad because I'm gonna get his boy some. Girl, what? For real? You think that's getting back at them? It is not. It's not. It ain't hitting like you think it's hitting. That's not hitting like you think it's hitting. Because 9 times out of 10, you rolling like that, them dudes don't like you. They definitely don't love you. They barely like you. Y'all still gonna do it anyway because y'all silly. Y'all silly. Y'all silly and delusional and goofy. And y'all don't believe nothing. Y'all don't believe fat meat is greasy. Women been telling y'all since forever how to move around these men. And why you supposed to have some type of self-respect. Yeah, you may not get all of the, you know what I'm saying, attention, this, that, and the third. That's perfectly fine. Leave that alone. It's okay if you don't get all the men's sexual attention. This is why I tell young women that a man's sexual attention is the least valuable of all the attention he can give you. His sexual attention is the least valuable because he get that to anybody. Anybody can get that out of him. What anybody can't get is a meaningful relationship where he love you. Everybody can't get that part. But the sex, they don't see sex the same way we do. Keep on telling y'all that. Y'all hard-headed. Head hard as I don't know what. Keep on telling you these men don't see sex like that. Y'all, just like this young lady here on this show, want to have sex. She want to move like a man so bad. Want to move around sexually like a man so bad. And running yourself in the ground. Meanwhile, the men just looking at you like, what are you doing? I mean, yeah, we'll take it, but what is you doing? Y'all confuse the fact that he will take what you give him for his approval about the behavior. And they don't be approving the behavior. And this is what I'm trying to tell you. Y'all take the fact that he will accept the benefit of you behaving like that, but that is not approval for the behavior. They're not approving it. You busting it open. What you think he gonna do? But at the same time, depending on what's going on with you, he also might think you're disgusting. He also might think you're not worth much. Too busy in the transaction. This is why you getting, guys, some guys on the internet talking about, if I take her on the first date, she got to give it up. And you got women trying to do that. He thinks you're disgusting. It doesn't matter what he said. If I take her out to dinner, she got to bust it open or else I ain't going to give her no relationship. He wasn't going to give her a relationship anyway. Ding dong. Because most of the time he gonna be like, well, how many men took you out to dinner and you did this for? You did it for me, you did it for somebody else. That's how men think. It don't matter that he told you that's what he wanted. Of course he told you that's what he wanted. People in hell want ice water, but you gonna give it to him? Y'all dingbats. We keep on telling y'all, but y'all want to be hoes. You want to be hoes. So you don't want to listen when we tell y'all how to move because you don't know how to move like lionesses. You want to move like these little hoish little hyenas out here. That's what you want to do. So you get what you get. You get what you get. Don't nobody feel sorry. I don't. I don't feel sorry for nobody dealing with hoes. I don't feel sorry for the hoe, and I don't feel sorry for the dude to deal with her. We're gonna hit a commercial break real quick, and then we'll be right back. So after these messages, we'll be right back. So I need everybody to go to ashkicking.com. The link is pinned to the top of the chat. If you want to keep your skin looking, feeling, smelling its absolute best, look no further than this awesome body butter right here on the screen. If it's going to be your first purchase, please take advantage of the 10% discount using the promo code Crimson. Once again, that link is pinned to the top of the chat, ashkicking.com. Oh, you guys are bam, 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 bam. You got to hit the like button, bam, bam. You got to go ahead, hit the like button for me. Thank you, KDB, for your contribution. Thank you, Jay, for your super sticker. Thank you, Eric, says called Ho Couture. Pretty much. Thank you for the contributions. No, I don't feel sorry for The hoe or the men that deal with her. Most men know she a hoe. Very few men don't. Very few men can be around a bona fide hoe and don't know she a hoe. You got to be real green for that one. Hoes move a certain way. I don't feel sorry. Just like people trying to talk about Offset and Cardi and her going with Stephon Diggs and she did this and she did that. I don't feel sorry for Offset or Stephon. Who do you think Cardi B is? Who do you think she is? Her history is actually well documented. It's not hidden. If I know it, you know it. You went and got her. And you tried to wife her. You did wife her. You married her. So now you, Offset, was supposed to operate how she used to a man operating. He thought he was going to sit a woman like that in the house and she was going to be a Susie homemaker while he run the street. Not that woman. Not no woman like her. She's not going to do that. Because she'll pay you. Because, you know, they made a big spectacle of his birthday. She gave him a couple $1 million, a car, this, that, and third. She gonna pay you. Because that's who she is. That's what she knows. She telling you, I'm gonna bring you the money. In return, you gotta make me look good. Like you know what I'm saying? You can't be out here moving a certain kind of way. Like you can, but the public thing, you can't do that. That's what was messing her up. You know who she is. So I don't know why you trying to cry. Why are we trying to cry about that? Again, history well documented. You don't know? Too bad. Should have did your Googles. You should have did your Googles. So she moved how she moved. You on to the next one? We get a divorce. She on to the next one. She ain't about to sit here and, you know what I'm saying, do all this other. She on to the next one. Absolutely. Because she would have been doing her thing too. Still bringing him the money. He do his thing. And as long as they can come to the public and be like, okay, we cool, we just married, is what it is. Then she got with Stephon. I don't think she was even trying to take him serious. It was just a good look for a little second. You know, I'm out with a baller. You know, he buying me. So she trying to troll Offset to a certain degree. You know what I'm saying? Stuff like she don't care about none of that. She doing what she doing. I don't know why nobody was surprised. Or, oh my God, she what? Don't nobody feel sorry for Offset. That's what he is. I certainly don't feel sorry for him. He got what he got. He did him. He good. You should have never married her. You should have never married her. I don't know what he did that for. I don't be feeling sorry for all that. Just like I don't feel sorry for none of these. Let me just be real clear. I don't feel sorry for not a single one. Not a single one of these little industry dudes and these little rapper dudes and sometimes these little sports dudes, because they pass these same women around. They pass them around. So you know what you get. They pass around them baby mamas. They pass around, you know what I'm saying? This one being seen with that one. This one being seen with that one. And what she did over there, she gonna do over there. What is we saying? What she's supposed to be, you know, upstanding. These are not lionesses you dealing with, and these are not lions. This is all boneyard activity. All of it. All of it is boneyard activity. Every last piece of it. So please, you know, sometimes I use celebrity for a teachable moment, but I'm very aware that they don't have normal like marriages. Most of them don't have normal relationships. Only a few of them you can kind of look at and say, okay, they got normal, like it's a normal relationship. But most of the time they passing around, you know, this baby mama, that one over there. Now you see her, she booed up with this one. Then a couple months later, she booed up with that one. Like, she getting paid. The Brittany Renters and all that. She get paid. Drea Michelle paid.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah. And that's what you say, that men are, you know, essentially predatory, and we have the goods that we have to meet, like keep from them.
Oh, I didn't mean the goods in a bad way.
But that's such an objectifying way, the goods, what the grocery goods.
Honestly, I think that like, that's just kind of
we don't have value
colloquial
in value
songs
in
today.
soul.
I think
we
people,
have value.
Yeah.
You see her trying to point out, this is the thing that irked me about hyenas. When you talk to them, this is why I don't like talking to hyenas. Because when you talk to them, they always want to put out or point out one or two little things that they try to nitpick with you about or try to make a joke about at your expense, or they try to make you look stupid about it, or they try to make it sound stupid, like you said something goofy. So they pointed out. I can't stand talking to hyenas. This is why I don't be on a lot of panels. And this is why I don't run panels. If you're wondering why I stay to my channel, if you're wondering why I don't really go around too much, because hyenas get on my nerve. And I'm not saying every panel got hyenas and stuff. I'm just saying I don't want to talk to them. I don't want to talk to them because, see, all of that trying to nitpick, all of that trying to pick, trying to be funny, ha ha he he, kiki, funny. Oh, we try to make her look stupid. You really don't want to verbally spar with me like that. And the problem is, the real problem with that is that once you get into a verbal thing with a hyena, or you get into a fight with a hyena, see, from a distance, can't nobody tell the difference. Nobody can tell the difference from a distance. See, somebody will end up thinking you the hyena in the situation. When really, I'm checking this chick because she done got disrespectful. See, that's the other thing that hyenas do. This is why I don't like to do it. I'm going to tell you something. I'm going to tell you something about why lionesses keep quiet a lot. I want y'all to really listen to me, especially the men who be like, why don't the women speak out and this and that? I'm going to share something with y'all. Hyenas, the reason that they pick with lionesses like that is because they are counting on us always taking the high road. They're counting on us always taking the high road, no matter how disrespectful they become. Because if we were really good women, we would not go as low as them. And so they try to use that as an opportunity to disrespect you. And our hands are supposed to be tied because we are not going to be able to disrespect them back to the level that they're doing without coming across just like them. They try to hit you with, thought you was a Christian, thought Muslims didn't talk like that. I thought, see. And then as lionesses, we come to a decision, and this is why a lot of times we be silent. We're not scared of them. But sometimes when you go low, I'm going to hell. Because they think you can't get with them. And once and again, we gotta go on, step over into the boneyard and skibbity pap them up real quick, just to let them know who you playing with for real. Who you playing with for real. See, don't let none of this fool you. I seen a clip a couple of weeks ago of a Muslim sister. She was Somalian. Hijab on and everything. Was in a whole fight. Looked like they was like in an auditorium, like they had come for maybe some type of school event for the children or graduation or something like that. That's what it looked like. And that sister, with all that, her overgarment and everything, was wearing out a hyena. She wearing her out too. She wearing her out. Okay? Little hyena had on a little tight little, a little cheetah print, little bitty dress and this and that. And the comments was like, whatever going on, we riding with that Muslim sister because we don't even be seeing them act like that. They don't be fighting. So what you do to that sister? What you do to her? You said something real slick or you did something, cause why that sister on you like that? And my thing always be like, please don't let the hijab and the rap, please don't let none of that fool you. Please don't. Please don't. Cause I will fight you. Please don't call yourself, put your hands. No. And too many disrespectful words. Listen, I'm not gonna, because the other side of that, with all of the class and we trying to be feminine and stuff like that, that is not a pass for disrespect. Not gonna let you disrespect. You don't get to just disrespect me and I have to uphold your idea of how good of a person I am. No, we gonna go bar for bar. We going bar for bar today. Because who you talking to? I'll choose Muslim. I am. I promise you this. We ain't never said, and this ain't no shade to nobody, but we ain't never said turn the other cheek or none of that. This is Allahu Akbar. I'm gonna get with you. I'm gonna go ahead and get with you. You need to do your Googles. We fight. I don't be knowing what people be thinking anyway. That people that try to have some type of moral standing, you try to have some type of class, you try to have some type of awareness about yourself, or even if a person trying to have some type of spirituality or something like that. I don't know why people think you got to be soft in order to serve God. If you have ever read your Bible or your Quran, them some of the not softest people. Those people are not soft at all. How much war? This is how you know folk don't know the Bible, they don't know the Quran and nothing like that. How many king prophets went to war? How many warriors? People want to talk about Samson with the whole Delilah situation, but what they don't like to talk about was all them whoopings he was handing out in the name of the Lord. They don't want to talk about them whoopings that he was laying out with the jawbone in the name of the Lord. Whoopings in the name of the Lord. We will beat you in the name of the Lord. Dawood alayhi salam straight deleted. They was lined up for war. He went out there with a slingshot. See, it wasn't like this. No. Imagine like a whole thing. It's like a bullet. He basically went over there and shot that dude in the head in the name of the Lord. What do we think is happening here? Goliath thought he was real. He was doing something. He had deleted a few people. You know, he's standing somewhere grandstanding like ain't nobody gonna do nothing to me. You know what I'm saying? What you got? You ain't got nothing for me. Y'all ain't got nothing for me. He came right over there. With a whole weapon in his hand. He didn't come over there and try to talk to him. Ain't no talking to you. Ain't no talking to you. You understand one language, and I'm about to speak it to you. Some folk don't understand nothing but a whooping. I'm sorry to go off on a tangent, but I had to. Some folk don't understand nothing but a whooping, and so you got to whoop them. They did not like Esau, alayhi salam. They didn't like him. Not only did he turn over the money changers table, he was whipping them. He was constantly reading them up and down. That was constant. Every time they stepped to him, call themselves, you know, they gonna catch him up. He don't know this part. He don't know nothing about this thing over here. We gonna catch him up. We gonna play semantics with him. Oh, who they thought they was playing with. And every time they would leave mad. Because he would, every time, boop, get out my face. Who you talking to? That's why they was mad. They want to try to act like Jesus alayhi salam was some type of hippie. He was mean. Read it again. He wasn't playing with nobody. He wasn't sugarcoating no information or nothing. That's why they was mad. Because he was clocking their tea every day. Every time they came up with some stupid stuff to say to him. So I don't like that. I don't like that. You got to be soft if you trying to be spiritual. Y'all better get on out my face with that. No. We're going to fast forward from Goofball, and we are going to get to the other lady that was on Pop the Balloon. Come on now. Why would you do that? It's acting stupid. Hold on.
Thank you.
Hello.
Hi, how are you?
What's your name?
I'm Zola Stone.
Very nice to meet you, Zola. You have very pretty eyes.
Thank you. So you keep talking about OnlyFans and Kim Kardashian and well, I do OnlyFans.
Okay.
And I'm a stripper as well.
So you're in the sex industry.
Well, I'm mainly a recording artist, but
that's the first thing. Did you hear that? Y'all can hear that, right? They don't like you to undress, so to speak, what they do. She said, I'm a stripper. So Candace says, so you in the sex industry? Well, mainly I'm a recording artist. No, you're not, because you didn't lead with that. You didn't say, well, I'm a recording artist. You didn't say that. You led with, I'm a stripper. That's the sex industry, Bookie Bell. She did not like it when Candace just said it. So you're in the sex industry. You should have seen her face. Like, you know, you had to say it like that. Yes. As a matter of fact, we did.
Do that to fund the music.
Okay.
But, you know, you're saying basically that we kind of like devalue ourselves, but at the same time, I'm celibate. I still consider myself a woman of God. And so, you know, not all of us are just out there just, oh, hey, showing the goods, you know, like we do respect our bodies still.
Listen, let me tell y'all something. She said she's a woman of God, and I wish y'all stop putting God in y'all foolish men. She thinks because she's abstinent that she doesn't have any sex, that she's not whoring. You're still selling the image of your sex. You're selling the illusion of your sex. You're selling the fantasy of your sex. When you're on that stripper pole, even if you never sexually touch any of those men ever, you have successfully sold them the imagery and the fantasy of what it would be like to have sex with you. You have shown your butt. You have shown your breasts. You have shown your coochie. You have gyrated. You have swung around that pole. You done twerk. You done split. You done gap. You done. What else is it? There's nothing left for him to do other than stick it in. That's the only thing you didn't do, supposedly. Supposedly, if we take her word for it, okay, let's take her word for it, and she never actually physically touches those men. That's literally the only part she didn't do. She literally did everything else. Got that man aroused, because that's what you in there to do. The men come in there to see the women, to be aroused by them. They want the feminine energy because they want the women to give them lap dances, and they want them to pay attention to them and talk sweet to them. And you want another drink? Come on, we'll get you another drink. And you want to watch me dance? They want that. They want that. Hoes know how to be real soft and feminine for pay. They're feminine for pay. So even if you never, ever actually touch those men, you still did everything. You might as well. Because it's rated the same way. It's looked at the same way. They don't see you any differently than any other strippers who might actually invite them back to the VIP room and this, that, and the third. They don't see you no different. So you're not respecting anything. You have sold the imagery and the fantasy and the illusion of your sex to strange men. Maybe you got some favorites that come in there for you, you know what I'm saying, or whatever. Just like a prostitute may have a John that keep coming back to her, you know, or whatever the case may be. Y'all get to kind of know each other because he always over there and he always got a couple of dollars for you, and you know, this, that, and the third. You know, he tip you real good, he pay you real good, so you be extra nice to him, and da 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 da. So then talking about a woman of God, Women of God don't do any of that. Women of God do not engage in any form, publicly or privately, in any kind of sex work of any ilk on any level. They don't do it. Real women of God try their best to actually follow what they believe God told them to do. In many different spiritual systems, women are always told to have modesty of some sort, that modesty is better for them. Not only modesty in their clothing, but modesty in their behavior, modesty in how they deal with the public, modesty in how they deal with men, what they allow men to know about them or see from them or get from them. This is why you see a lot of times women who try to, live their life according to what the Most High say and things of that nature. They're a bit standoffish with strange men, not trying to be mean, but we're closed. We're closed. We're closed. We're closed for business. Sometimes being too friendly give men the wrong idea. And sometimes they mistake that for flirting with them. So there's a thin line between being cordial and polite, right? Be cordial, be polite, speak to people or things of that nature where it is appropriate, act appropriately, but not be so friendly and so open and so, inviting that men feel invited. You have to make them not feel invited. It's when you're trying to do what the Most High want, it's your job to not make men feel invited to you. And people would try to say, oh, well, that's putting the onus on the woman. Yeah, it is. It is. Are there some men that will try to overstep a boundary if they can? Yeah. But more generally speaking, for the majority of the time, if you don't make yourself available to them, they won't feel invited to you. Men don't feel comfortable talking to me. Like strangers, and they may speak, in passing. Somebody hold the door open for you. There's politeness. Somebody hold the door open for you. Thank you so much. Oh, you're welcome. Have a good day. You have a good day too. That's just polite. Is in this culture, that's just polite. But then, like I said, you have to also make sure that your behavior is not overly inviting to them. This is why women of God dress more modestly and things of that nature, have some more respect for their bodies, because Men are men. A lot of them deal in a base nature. Once they start seeing too much skin and too much, the imprint of your breast and the imprint of your booty once men start seeing too much of that, they can't. It's just the way it is. So you have to take you have to take their mind off of it. You have to take men's minds off of it. You got to make them not think about it like overtly and try and oh my gosh, if they do think about it, it'll just be he just making his own thing up, but not because it's just there. That's one of the main purposes of Muslim women being told to cover their hair and cover their, what I'm saying? One of the main purposes that's stated in the verse is so that you will not be molested as you go about molesting, that the men won't harass you. They won't feel invited to say things to you or to get out of context with you. Allah know how he made men. He know what he did to them. You know what he did to them. They get real one-track minded when it comes to seeing women's bodies and this and that and women and all that feminine. They get real one-track minded about that. This is how you sift between the normal men and the weirdos, because only the weirdo want to cross a boundary that is clearly set. Only the weirdos want to do that. Now, I'm clearly closed for business. Why you keep talking to me? You sure is trying to make it your business to be in my face. What's wrong with you? See, now I gotta, you suspect. What is you doing? You study trying to, make conversation, but I done already shut down the conversation. So what do you keep trying to say? Now you suspicious. That's the true definition of the creepy guy. The boundary is clearly set. Said it a couple of times, matter of fact. The energy is clear. Ain't no mixed signal. The energy is clearly no. It's clearly closed. I'm clearly not, you know what I'm saying? We're not doing this at all. And you still want to, yeah, well, I was just wondering, who you talking to? Now I got to give you my full attention, not because I want to talk to you, but now I got to watch you. Now I got to watch you. What do you want? I've had to flat out what you want. Why you keep talking to me? What's wrong with you? What is it? What is it? Spit it out. Because all that little small talk you trying to do, you're not distracting me. What is it? And why do you keep talking to me? I told you to leave me alone, right? And then it be the ones that don't even let you do that. See, now I really gotta watch you because I hear footsteps. We worse than the Isley brothers. I keep hearing footsteps, baby. See, it's footsteps. What? Because I know you ain't trying to follow me to no car. We not doing that at all. So whatever it is, because then I think you up to something. So whatever it is that you think you up to, we're going to have to do it right here in the middle of the grocery store or the middle of the parking lot or wherever we at. We just going to have to go ahead and do it. Because I'm not letting you follow me nowhere. So right. You be having to like get away. Because what? So you just going to keep on.
So I don't like that you kind of putting us all in one box because of that.
So we have to, in order to have debates, we have to make generalizations. Of course, there can be some exceptions to the rule. But what I'm trying to understand is how can you say that you're not, giving up your body if you are a stripper?
Well, because I said I'm celibate. I still want to get married. I still want to have kids. And for some of us, it's hard for us to have kids. And I've also dealt with sexual abuse since a child, so I wasn't doing any sexual work as a child, and still went through things like that.
Yeah. So I first want to say, perfectly sympathetic to everything you're saying, especially if you come from an environment where you've lived through something when you're a kid. It makes it infinitely harder. And it's actually a reason why so many people turn to sex work, because they don't have that structure at home that gives them, I think, other options. But would you agree with me that if you
still want to have children and you still want to get married and they don't ever equate the two things. If you went through some form of sexual trauma or abuse as a child, I always feel sorry for that, because children do not have the capacity to stop their abuse from happening to them. Even though sometimes, let's just be real, sometimes a lot of times in the Black community, we will blame. We'll start blaming the child too. Let's not act like we don't do that. She fast, as if that means she's supposed to be molested by her uncles. But then you have to work through that trauma. Once you become an adult, you have to start working through the trauma of that, because it will leave you broken if you do not address it, especially sexual things. It put a depraved sexual demon on you. It put a demon on you. And that demon act out in a couple of different ways. Sometimes it make the person closed off from all sex, and they can't really have good relationships, good romantic relationships, because once it come down to the sexual aspect, they can't respond properly. Or that demon become very promiscuous. It become very promiscuous. And so you start doing that because this is what you learn and this is how that demon reacts. You got to fix that. But it goes to something that I've said before. Women who get into sex work and or become whores, it's not the sex that make them the whores. They're whores before that. Something broke them. And they go to sex in an effort to fix it or to trauma dump or trauma bond by it. They have not healed it. It's not the sex that makes them whores. That's just how it end up manifesting itself. Because something has to be going on with a woman that can consistently allow strange men, numerous men, to have physical access to her. That is not normal. That's not normal. And even in whores, it tears them down. Even in whores, it tears them down. They get torn down even more. This is why a lot of hoes turn to God after a while. Some of them is trying to sham, but the ones that really do it, that go away and they just get secluded, they finally are trying to get the demon off of them, because it is a demonic force. They can't erase their past, but they have to get the demon out.
Could like that wouldn't
I
have
went to college for music production.
for music production.
I went to LA recording school.
Okay, so did you decide to be a stripper because of economic restraint or because of freedom?
For freedom, we want the choice to do whatever we want with our bodies.
Okay.
I don't think it matters if you do want to dress how you want to dress. That doesn't mean, you can, sexually abuse or sexually harass.
Okay. Do you think the men that are
wearing.
being brought into the strip clubs to watch you, do you think that they're walking away and going, I did that because that woman was empowered to take off her clothes? Or do you think that they're actually devaluing women?
No, I get it. I used to be that hypocrite. I said things that I said I would never do anything like that.
Mhm.
Like I totally get that. But some people just want to go to the club and have a good time.
Yeah, I think most of the people who are making those decisions are doing it because they're dealing with addictions themselves. I think you're worth more than taking your clothes off. I think that if you wanted to have a career in music, you wouldn't have to take your clothes off to do that. And I think that it's sad that you've been.
Every story is different.
Every story is different, but I do think that we can make a generalization.
I was at that point where I was going to college. I was working.
And I'm not going to let her finish that thought. The other thing that feminists lean on that I can't stand is every individual story is different. Y'all are not that deep. It's maybe 2 to 5 archetypes that exist. And y'all usually fit into one or more of them. It don't be but so many archetypes. Candace asked, she said, so did you get into stripping because of financial constraint or for freedom? For freedom. So I don't want to hear about your sexual trauma when you was a child. Sorry to say. With all due respect. Because you said for freedom. If people just want to have a good time, okay. But you gotta take what come with that. Men devalue you when you have been a sex worker and when they feel like you are non-exclusive, you don't have modesty, you give your sex to anybody, any man can have access to you as long as he got either look a certain way or got a couple of dollars. Men, they devalue you for relationships. They don't want it. They don't want it. That's the trade-off. You want to have all this freedom. You want to do what you want to do. Fine. But there's a trade-off. This is what it means to not have it all. You are not able to live the life of a hoe and get the reward and the outcome of a wife. You don't get that. You have to choose. You have to choose. They want to have the freedom of whores and then get the respect and the love and the adoration that good wives get from their husbands. And you can't. That's like a man never working, always scrounging around in the street when he young and think he's supposed to be rich when he old. How? You didn't do that work. You didn't do that work. You did other work, so you get the outcome of that work. You don't get to live the life of a whore and then get the outcome of a good wife. No. You didn't do that work. You chose your work. You chose your path. Only when they get to the end of it and realize nothing changed. The men, no matter how much feminism you put into the society, men have not changed their opinion of hoes. We will have sex with them because it is simple to do. We do not actually like y'all. We don't value you as wives. And quiet as it's kept, they don't want to hear what a hoe gotta say either. They actually will dismiss any kind of quote unquote intelligence that you have and you having a degree and you going to school and you doing that. Men will actually dismiss all of that because you're a whore. Say I'm lying. Men will dismiss all of that just because you be hoeing. Because they feel like if it was valuable to you and it was supposed to be better, why you didn't just stick with that part of you? Why you over here doing that, scrounging around with us? So we don't want to hear nothing that you gotta say. Because you don't even make good decisions. You went to school and you did this and did that only to come over here and be a hoe with the uneducated women and the women that didn't see a future and the women that couldn't go to school and the women that don't read good and the women that, you know what I'm saying? You over here with these women, the downtrodden of the women. You were supposed to do something better and you quote unquote went and did something better than that. Now you over here with them women, girl, you stupid. We don't want to hear nothing you gotta say. That's why they do that. They trying to figure out, if you were so smart, why you over here with the dummies? And why do they think hoes is dummies? Because that's usually, historically, that's what it has been. The women who had no hope, the women who was just at the end of everything, had to resort to selling their bodies in order to survive and in order to make it and stuff like that. They ain't really got no other choice. That's what it boiled down to. It boiled down, their life boiled down to that. And that's just what they do. And you cannot come and try to tell them that your life didn't really boil down to that. You just want to do it. You just want to do it. You just wanted to do, you want to do this. You want to do this? Like you like it? Like you like this position that you're in? All right. I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up. Thank you, Lord. Senator said, Jesus went to the synagogue with a whip. Exactly. Thank you, HVAC said, same thing I tell dudes, you disrespect me, I'm whooping your hide. Just because I ain't a felon don't mean nothing. Exactly. Thank you, Stephan. Said, thank you for all your work. Thank you so much. I appreciate you guys coming and chilling with me for this last installment. So thank you so very much for letting me get this all the way out. All right. Jump down in the comment section. Let me know what you think. Like, share, subscribe to the channel if you have not. Once again, I'm your host, is the Crimson Cure, and this was my perspective. Bye-bye, Crimsonites.